Welcome to Oakville Matters. Thanks to your TV, this is our chance to talk about what matters to Oakville. And judging by the participation rates and the statistics, recreation services and community activity matter a lot to our residents. And so to discuss 5 years of amazing progress, we're joined today by Colleen Bell, who for the last 8 years has been the commissioner of community services, and that includes everything we're going to talk about today: parks and open space, emergency services, recreation and culture, the Oakville Public Library, even the management of facilities and construction, and harbors and cemeteries. So Colleen, welcome. Thanks for joining us. We have a slide that shows some key program outcomes from the last 5 years. And there are a bunch of different things on there, but it looks to me like you've presided over 5 years of improving outcomes. How do you plead to that?
I plead proud and extremely happy on behalf of our team. It's a great point of pride that we are able to serve the Oakville community in the way that we have over the last 5 years.
So why don't you explain the response crew travel time, the first line, which is emergency services, which I think most of us understand as the fire department.
That's right. So what that time represents is from the second that they get the dispatch call until they are actually out on the road and responding to whatever the incident might be. That time is impacted by things like heavy traffic, congestion, the nature of the call, a number of things. It's a KPI that our teams look at very closely and are always looking at ways to improve.
Now, that's an average or an amalgamation of all the different kinds of calls, and you've got fires, and you've got accidents, because we dispatch fire. Sometimes they can get there faster than the ambulance. When you unpack those things, are there any brighter spots than 61.15%?
Well, that takes into account all of the calls that we have, and that a crew leaving might actually be a secondary response group, not the primary response group as well. Certainly when we look at the response to car accidents as an example on the QEW, our response rates are much higher. And in fact, if I can brag for just a moment, we have one of the world's best auto extrication teams. Yeah. They've won all kinds of awards, and they've just done an outstanding work. And it's something that we in Oakville Fire are incredibly proud of.
Yeah, and we should mention the OPP call us sometimes just to have the benefit of one of our really big trucks to discourage people from trying to drive through the accident.
Oh, absolutely. The use of our vehicles as blocker trucks is absolutely paramount for health and safety concerns.
Yeah, there are motorists who might take a chance at going through a cruiser, but a giant fire truck has a certain intimidation value on that side.
It's certainly helpful at critical times like that.
Well, talk about the fire-related injuries per 100,000. It appears to me that there's kind of a normal level that runs along there between 2 and 4. Is that right?
That's consistent across the board, and it has been the case for the last 8 years since I've been here. And it is very much in keeping with benchmarks across the GTHA.
And is that injuries to residents, or does that also include injuries to fire personnel?
It's injuries to residents.
I see. All right. And moving to brighter topics, we've got residents satisfied with recreation programs and services. I'd like to hear more about how you collect that information.
So there are two means in which we do that, Mayor Burton. The first one is, as you know, we have the citizen survey that is every 2 years. But in between, We also survey every single patron after they've completed one of our programs. And the reason why we do that is so that we get up to the minute feedback on how we're doing. And we look at things like, did they feel that their instructor was great? Did they like our facilities? How did they feel about the registration program? And also, you know, the program in general. For us, in the last 2 years, we've consistently been at 90%. And as you know, everyone knows it's been during the pandemic. It has been a huge challenge to deliver recreation services during this time. We've made major changes, such as we have a new registration system, which is fabulous, but you know, as we know, it's always challenging for anyone to go to a new system. We've also had to make major adjustments to our programming to comply with all of the COVID regulations. And we've also had to do things like introduce online registration, online booking, for example, for drop-in programs. So understandably, with the amount of change that we've had to implement over the last 2 years, I would not have been surprised if residents were feeling frustrated with all of the changes. But to get 90% satisfaction rate, it means that in spite of all the changes, our residents, first of all, love our recreation programming. We're getting the programming mix right. Many of them have commented on how safe they feel in our spaces, which during a pandemic is a very big deal from a health standpoint, and that they have appreciated all of the cleaning and health measures that we have put in place so that when they are in our facilities, they feel safe and that they can enjoy the full recreational experience. So while we've always enjoyed really high satisfaction rates for our recreation program since I've been here, I am most proud of the 90% in the last 2 years because of the challenges that we had to overcome, and that our residents stayed with us and clearly feel that recreation is critical to their mental health. So it was a very proud moment when we saw those numbers come in.
Well, I know based on the email traffic that comes through this office, your department runs after, so to speak, special requests from people all the time. I'm astonished at the way you can deal with special requests, I'll call it, and I've noticed that we've increased our, let me call it, culturally sensitive offerings as a result of some of those. Can you speak to those?
Well, certainly, when we're, as you know, we are in the process of building or designing North Park, and I'll speak about that a little bit later. But one of the things we're going to be doing at the end of February is a consultation on program service delivery. So as we know, we build beautiful facilities, but facilities only come alive with fabulous programming that people love and want to come to. So we're going to be working with residents around the type of programming that they want to see at North Park. And that's something that we have a proud history of, is superb public consultation and our ability to build partnerships. So in recreation, for example, we created a new unit that is the Community Development Unit. And what they do is they work with a large number of community groups, both small grassroots, fledgling, perhaps neighbors meeting around a kitchen table, and other groups that are fully established and are mature in terms of their programming needs. And as a result, we have built over 90 partnerships since that unit has been in place over the last 3 or 4 years. And that unit has proven to be invaluable in terms of building new relationships within the community and helping us work with different groups to find what I always like to think of as a sweet spot where we can find a mutually beneficial place, and we can provide different types of programming, or they provide the programming on our behalf. So it's one of my favorite parts of the job, to be quite honest.
Well, it can be tough. I've watched several times where we had to find a balance between the needs of one group and the needs of another, or the the interface between one of our facilities and its neighbors. There's like so much people care that goes on in your commission that it's something to watch. Um, and you know, it's winter, and we just had the snowfall in my memory. Uh, and have you got any calls yet asking you to clear the pickleball courts?
Oh, listen, we have teams of volunteers who get out there before we're able to with shovels, and they go in unison. And they're so excited that we've kept the pickleball courts open. Same with the tennis courts.
Oh,
I can't say enough great things about how residents responded to the winter recreation strategy when we first introduced it in 2020. We got some great ideas from Europe, who had already, because COVID had advanced much further, we were able to garner some interesting ideas and then translate them into an Oakville context. And we were overwhelmed with how residents have responded to that strategy. And this year, we began to get emails in August about when we were going to start the winter recreation strategy. I don't know if it was because it was just hot and they'd had enough, but they were really excited about the possibility of that being brought back again this year, which we've done.
well, you know, it was easy to imagine that people in winter might like to toboggan or skate or walk. Who knew they wanted to play tennis and winter winter pickleball? Hmm.
Well, and there's also been we've done things like snow yoga, which apparently is a thing, and people loved that as well. I like yoga, but I do prefer it indoors, I'll be honest, but I'm willing to put on ski pants to do it. We also introduced winter cycling because cycling has become a lot more popular as well. And we also are grooming 3 select trails for cross-country skiing. I spoke to the director of parks this morning, and he said they're already getting ready to take the equipment out to have all of those trails properly groomed. And we got a lot of great feedback on that. People loved it. And you know, just having our trails in good shape so people can snowshoe or walk. One thing I did want to mention that the library introduced as part of the winter recreation strategy, because the strategy was a partnership between fire, parks, recreation, and the library. They have introduced ability to where you can borrow sports equipment. So if you're someone who's interested in trying out a winter sport, but you don't want to make the investment, you just want to see if you like it first, you can borrow walking sticks, you can borrow snowshoes, you name it. And that's been hugely popular, and people are starting to discover new sports as a result. So I encourage anyone who's thinking about it to call the Oakville Public Library.
Oh, does that include cross-country skiing?
I think they do have skis.
Oh my goodness. So, you know, I know we have competing uses of our trails. It never occurred to me in the past to imagine that cross-country skiing would fit with walkers. Are the cross-country skiers nicer than the bicyclists in the summer? Who, you know, I get calls all the time about from people who feel a little insecure about kids whizzing past them, you know, without even so much as a tinkle of a bell or other warning.
As a Nordic skier, I'm going to defend all Nordic skiers. We are super nice, and we're very zen, because with that amount of exercise, by the end of the day, if you're not in the best mood possible, I cannot imagine.
Oh, so I'm glad to hear that Nordic skiers are polite. And considerate.
Super nice, super nice.
In that case, we could wish some bicyclists would become Nordic skiers.
They often are. They often are.
Well, I hope it's not the rude ones, but anyway.
No, never.
All right. Well, I don't know whether we should chat about North Park or the role of the role that recreation and community services plays in our budget. But let's start with North Park. Everybody's excited about that, and then we can talk about we can finish off with the paying the piper part of this discussion. You know, it's nice to have, but somebody pays. So in North Park, last April, uh, council agreed with my suggestion that we bring forward North Park because there's clearly a demand for recreation services, and we just I couldn't justify leaving North Park out several years in the future. Like we have a 10-year capital budget, and North Park was sitting way out there. So everybody's excited, and I predict you'll be inundated with advice in your community consultation. For the viewers, though, just uh, refresh everybody what we're thinking about putting there, so that when we ask them for more ideas, they have an opportunity to come up with something new other than already in.
So from an amenity standpoint, because the programming is yet to be determined, so there's plenty of opportunity for input on that front. So let's start with the community center. The community center is going to be just over 63,000 square feet. So it's a bit bigger than OTCC if you want to do a comparison. Within it, there will be a 25-meter pool, 6 lanes. We're going to make the lanes a little bit bigger so it can accommodate some competition swimming where possible. We also will have a warm water pool, which is, we find before COVID shut everything down, the warm water pool at OTCC was in very high demand, and we can't keep up with the demand. So North Park is a perfect place to put another warm water therapeutic pool in, and I know it'll be packed the whole time. We also will have a large gym. There is always a shortage of gyms in Oakville. So this gym can be converted in several ways. It can be converted as an NBA-sized basketball court. It can be converted into 2 FIBA basketball courts. It can be converted into 6 badminton courts, 6 pickleball courts. The list goes on. So we're really excited about that. Plus, it has a walking track that is above on the 2nd floor that you will be able to, as you're on the walking track, you will be able to look down into the pool area, and you will be able to look down into the gymnasium. So there'll be a lot to see and do as you're walking. And a lot of our elite athletes from 16 Mile Sports Complex are very excited that that amenity is going to be there. There will be a fitness center. There will be 4 multi-purpose rooms, and there will be secure storage as well for our what I would call our power user groups, like a lot of our seniors groups and youth groups as well. So we're really excited about that piece. The library is going to be 17,500 square feet. That is the largest branch after Central.
Yeah.
And that library is going to be extremely exciting. In addition to our normal amenities like children's area, book collection, quiet areas, and computer areas, we're going to be adding 4 amenities. And the first amenity is actually going to be an outdoor children's area. As you know, we added an outdoor area at Glen Abbey Library this year. And we found that while it's not officially open yet, we know that there is a huge trend in the library world around having additional outdoor space. And it's certainly outdoor space during a pandemic that becomes incredibly important. We also are introducing a Tinker Lab. So the Tinker Lab is for children between the ages of 5 and 12, and we're going to be doing STEAM programming in there. So that's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math programming, which many of our parents have asked for. So we're going to include the Tinker Lab. We're also including a video, photo cove that will allow people to create music videos, edit vlogs, and also it's a new amenity for our local businesses as a resource that they can actually film commercials in there if they so desire. We also will have a sound booth for podcasting as well.
Hmm.
So the library is going to be very, very exciting space. And our goal is to have it be very much state of the art and the future of libraries to come. Outside is equally as exciting. First of all, we are introducing an official size cricket pitch. We've been working closely with the Oakville Cricket Club, and it's been fantastic partnership. So we're looking forward to that being in place. We have multi-purpose fields. We will have a skateboard park, an outdoor fitness circuit. We will have a playground, a splash pad, basketball courts, and for our BMX riders, we will have a pump track. And new land has come available to us as part of that site. So in the 23 budget, we will be looking to create an additional 4 tennis courts, 6 pickleball courts outside, and sand beach volleyball, which is super, super exciting because this has been an ongoing theme for quite some time. So North Park is in great shape. The team has been working at breakneck speed in terms of getting detailed design nailed down and organized. We've been really working closely with a number of internal departments, and we're really eager to get out to the community so that they can also see what the plans are as well. So it's a very exciting time, and I would have to say that the whole staff team really recognizes that this could be one of the great projects that they ever work on. So this is fabulous.
Well, North Park is by far our largest park. I never can remember whether it's 200 acres or 300 acres or 1,000,000 acres, but how big is it anyway?
I don't have the exact number, but our parks director did indicate, who has created, as you know, with his team, hundreds of outstanding parks across Oakville, that this is the single biggest parks project that he's ever worked on.
Oh yeah, North Park, for a certain fact, is at least 200 acres. It might be more.
Easily.
Maybe, anyway, it's somewhere between 200 and 300. I don't want to accidentally have misled anybody by my earlier wisecrack about the size. I think the next biggest park is 50 acres. So
yes, I think you're right.
That gives you an idea. And the next biggest after that's like 20. So, you know, North Park is a very, very big deal in terms of the size. I want to go back to the swimming pool just on behalf of my friends, the swimmers. Look, I had a pool for quite a number of years, and my wife and my daughters, well, how can I put this? I could not keep it warm enough for them. Like no matter how hot we heated that pool, they wanted it hotter. And so I know that recreational swimmers tend to not like the bracing cold that competitive swimmers like. I mean, maybe it's true that cold water makes you swim faster. I've no idea.
So on that point, we have set service standards for different types of swimming activities.
Yeah.
So you are absolutely correct. Athletes do love colder water. And I guess it's because they're exerting at a much greater speed, so they're sweating in the water. But for our seniors and very young children who are just getting used to water, they prefer a much higher temperature as well. And then our regular swimmers sit somewhere in between. So we have set.
So my question about this new pool is, because you mentioned it's going to be available for competitive. And so when it's being used for competitive, it'll presumably be cold.
Yeah.
And when it's available for recreation, is this a new kind of pool that'll be able to switch back and forth? That's really my question.
Well, we actually do that with some of our pools. Like Iroquois is definitely one where the temperatures are altered. So that it's not a new thing. What we do try to do from an energy efficiency standpoint, and that's something that we're also looking very closely at as well, is how to organize our programming in a way that we're being thoughtful about those types of issues, like pool temperature, so that we're not trying to do up and down, which is going to put a lot of pressure on systems. And from an energy standpoint, it's not a good way to do business. So we look very closely at that. And we're very proud, actually, of our energy efficiency programs that we have implemented. One thing that I did want to mention is that we are certainly looking at making this center as energy efficient as possible through air exchange. So, for example, for some residents who may know this already, 16 Mile Sports Complex, which is a 4-pad arena, was built with the understanding that a community center would be attached. And it was built so that when we attach the community center, we will be able to exchange cold air and hot air, so that the hot air coming out of 16 Mile Sports Complex will in fact heat our pool. So there is very specific positioning on how we are siting those buildings in order to take advantage of those kinds of efficiencies. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, I've been proud of 16. I mean, you know, it's a little bit funny to say. I think of 16 Mile Sports Complex as my biggest legacy because of the quad pad, the beautiful large rink, the restaurant overlooking the pads, and the use of waste heat to heat the seats. Waste heat coming off the ice compressors heats your seats, folks. That's how luxurious is that? And so I love that. Even though by far my most popular achievement is probably still Queen Elizabeth Park. I understand from you that that's our most visited community center is Queen Elizabeth Park.
Certainly for camps, it's our camp program has exploded in the most wonderful way because of the amenities at QEP. Our families absolutely love it, and kids have learned so many new skills as a result of that facility. It's phenomenal.
Well, Commissioner, thank you very much for this fast tour of all that we offer. And to you, thank you for watching. And I look forward to seeing you next time on Oakville Matters.